Good evening. Hundreds of Bristol University students are in lockdown tonight after 40 people in one accommodation block tested positive for coronavirus. It means all 300 students at the Courtrooms in the city centre must now self-isolate. And across the university as a whole, the total number of cases has more than doubled. Well, our reporter Andrew Plant joins us from there now. Andrew.
Yeah, Alex, it was just yesterday we were telling you here on Points West that Bristol University had 119 positive coronavirus cases among its 28,000 students. Today, that number is 254, so pretty high. And for this block in the centre here, this halls of residence, it means everybody inside, all 300 people, are having to isolate because they've had so many positive cases in those halls. We talked to some of them inside earlier. They say they are freshers, they are brand new to university, and pretty much all of their experience so far has been behind closed doors.
Several stories of rooms full of students that are brand new to the city, now told they face mass isolation here. Today, improvising ways to communicate, their phone numbers written on post-it notes stuck to the window, and with our camera zoomed in, it allowed us to have phone conversations with the students inside.
My name's Andrew. Hi. And you guys are in lockdown already or not quite yet?
Yeah, we've been locked down since last Saturday and we've all got COVID.
Oh, you've all tested positive?
Yeah, we've all tested positive.
What's it like for you now?
Awful. We'd like the fact that we've got to stay inside for another 2 weeks means we've missed 3 weeks of our in-person seminars in the very start of term.
The halls, known as the Courtrooms, home to 300 students, have had more than 40 tests positive. And that means all will now have to isolate, informed by email this morning.
Were you sort of aware of coronavirus when you first got here? What's it been like in terms of that?
Well, you can definitely tell that this has been like a hotspot in our accommodation, and we've definitely been a bit careful about that, but obviously there's not much we can do. If it spreads, because we all have to use the same corridors, the same doors to get in and out.
Rates of coronavirus are being monitored closely by the university, doubling in a couple of days.
So what's gone wrong?
I don't think anything has gone wrong. As we know, coronavirus cases are rising across the UK and students have come to the city from different parts of the country, and we were expecting that we'd have some cases, so we've been working closely with Public Health England to keep that contained.
In some universities, coronavirus rates are much higher than here, but it is a real concern and so far showing no signs of slowing down. Andrew Plant, BBC Points West in Bristol.
OK, we're going to go back to Andrew in a moment because he's been studying all the latest figures for the region. But there has also been a rise in the number of cases at the University of Bath. 23 more have tested positive there. Leaflets have been delivered reminding everyone to follow the rules. It comes as some local residents say they're worried about the risk to their own health. Here's Scott Ellis.
Oldfield Park in Bath is home to hundreds of students living off campus. Long-term residents here worry that COVID cases at the nearby University of Bath are on the rise.
They walk down the pavements in groups, so you have to get out the way.
They're there together, and some of them got no masks on.
Near us there's been a couple of parties, one of which was after the rule of six with a couple of dozen students, so the police had to be called on, so it's certainly a bit of a problem.
It would have been a better idea for them to stay at home. They're learning online, so it doesn't seem to be a lot of point in coming here.
The university says not all teaching is online. Public health experts in Bath say the rapid rise in student COVID cases is not reflected in the broader population. Students say they're taking COVID guidelines seriously.
A lot of students are trying to be as careful as they can. I mean, some of my friends have shown symptoms and are quarantining.
If we're walking around with a group of 6, it might appear like we've met up with friends, but actually they're just our housemates.
Everyone seems fine with students working during it and being the key workers, and then as soon as cases start rising again, they're the scapegoat.
Local councillors want all colleges to reinforce COVID guidelines off campus with warnings if needed.
There's no harm in making that ultimate statement to the student, and it's no harm in saying this is your top line. You breach it, then you might have to return to mum and dad with your tail between your legs, having done something pretty daft, and you've still got that student debt around you.
Bath University says it'll be leafleting student homes across the city over the weekend, asking students to be mindful, patient and kind in their interactions with local residents. Scott Ellis, BBC Points West.
So we've got the latest government figures and they show a rise in the rate of infection across the whole of the region, although it is worth saying that it is still nowhere near the levels in Manchester or Nottingham, for example. But let's go back to Andrew because he has got the details. Andrew.
That's right, Alex. I think the first thing to say is that we are well below the national average here in the West Country, but that really is only because the national average has gone up so much. We are still seeing an increase in all of our local areas. Let's give you the latest figures that have come out today and compare them to last week. So Bristol and Bath and North East Somerset, they're our highest at 79 and 72. South Gloucestershire and Gloucester, they're at 59 and 56. Gloucester, by the way, has doubled in the past week. North Somerset and Cheltenham are both at 45. Cotswold and Tewkesbury at 45 and 42. Cotswold has tripled, actually. Somerset West and Taunton and Swindon are at 40 and 38. Wiltshire and the Forest of Dean at 37 and 36. Dorset and Mendip at 34 and 32. Stroud and South Somerset 31 and 27. And Sedgemoor at the bottom at 24. But those, although they are much lower than the national figures and the national average, which is 135, are all much higher than they were in the summer. In fact, if we'd been quoting those numbers back in the summer, everyone would have been pretty worried, because back then, if you got over 40 cases per 100,000, people got worried. You could raise national eyebrows, even go onto a list of national concern, areas of concern. That happened to Swindon back in the summer. But because everywhere has shifted so far north, now those numbers seem relatively low. By the way, in terms of university outbreaks, it's not just Bristol University, but Bath Spa, Gloucestershire University and Hartbury College too. They are all seeing quite high numbers of coronavirus rates. The trick really is to try and keep those outbreaks contained within those university communities and stop them becoming what's known as community spread, which speaks for itself really, stop them bleeding out into the wider population. Now, if you want to check the exact rates where you are, there is a way to do that on the BBC website, as we've been saying for the past couple of weeks. You go to bbc.co.uk, search for coronavirus latest, pop in your postcode, and that will give you the exact numbers right now where you are.
OK, brilliant. Thanks, Andrew. There's a lot of information there and you really explained it so well. Thank you.